Welcome to EDU World Space.
In this question, we are looking at a couple of goods, Coke and Pepsi, and skis and ski bindings. So for the first part, in A, we want to know which of these is a substitute and which is a complement. So kind of right off the bat, we're looking at how close these two are together. Let's see. Man, that's difficult to draw out with the mouse. But we got there. So for the substitutes, really you're looking at Coke and Pepsi as being substitutes, as long as they're both drinks. They're both the kind of dark brown. They've got very similar tastes, and in a lot of ways, I mean, for me personally, I don't really care which of these two I'm having. They both kind of fill the same role for me, and apparently they do for a lot of other people because you show up to a place and they've got to deal with one or the other, and it's not a huge deal to the business. They get better perks from just having that exclusive deal. Whereas with skis and ski bindings, these are clearly complements. If you have some ski bindings and you don't have skis, you're not going downhill. And if you have skis and you don't have ski bindings, you might be going downhill in a way that you don't really like. You're just going to be sitting on a piece of wood, and you're bound to come off of that. It's just not going to work. So that's part A. In part B, we want to look at the indifference curves of these goods. And so if I've got an option of having skis, number of skis and number of ski bindings, I'm just going to abbreviate that SB. If I am buying complements, then really I'm not going to get a whole lot of out of having a whole bunch of extra ski bindings. Uh, so without extra skis, so I don't really get a whole lot of extra utility. And mind you that utility is going this way whenever we're looking at an indifference curve like this. The further away from the origin, the more utility we get. So, and even in the extreme case, I would actually be dealing with an indifference curve that might look more just straight like that. If I can't use one without the other, then my utility isn't going up regardless of how many, in this case, skis I have, if I don't have an additional ski binding to go with it. So, let's say I have one ski binding over here, I can have 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 skis, and it wouldn't matter. My utility is not going in the right direction. And you can contrast that with the substitutes where really, because I get the same amount of enjoyment out of either one, then actually the budget curve starts looking just exactly like the indifference curve. It would be exactly the same because if I get one more, then I'm going to shift out, and it doesn't matter which one I get. I can get an extra Coke. Oh yeah, let me do that over here. So there's Coke and there's Pepsi. If I get one more Coke, I'm just gonna move out to wherever that met up to. If I had two more, I move to two. And the same thing goes with Pepsi, where it's like if I get one, great. If I get another, great. If you give me one of both, then I move out to here kind of regardless. So that one, substitutes have straight indifference curves, and complements have bowed indifference curves. And lastly, We wanted to see how the uh, prices are going to respond whenever you have substitute. Oh, well, you want to know which one is going to respond more to prices, and very simply, substitutes respond to prices. If Coke costs $1 and a Pepsi costs $2, then I'm buying Coke every single time. They're so close that if you just raise your price a little bit, I really care about that. Whereas with the compliments, if you can't use one without the other, then it doesn't matter as much. I mean, unless I'm just going to stop buying all of it altogether, I'm willing to pay a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more just to make sure that I can use, the pair of items, and that's what complements are. There, pairs of items that go well together.